Welcome back. You're watching the Power Breakfast Show. Now, this morning, or rather this week, we want to talk about raising the next generation. And this morning is going to be a fun, interactive conversation we are having with a group of parents, a group of teenagers, and a sociologist on the other side. And I can see Willis Raburu already taking my guest. But let me introduce my side of the studio. I have with me George Njogona, also known as DJ Cream, and his wife, Denise. A very good morning to you guys. Thank you for coming. And the reason as to why we have them, if you're on social media, if you're on Instagram, I'm sure you have noticed that the son, Jamari, has an Instagram account that has about 6,000 followers right now. Yeah?
As of yesterday, actually 6,000.
At 6,000?
Yes.
Yeah. As of last night, they had 6,000. Jamari had 6,000 followers. And we'll be having that conversation. I want to understand why you guys decided to open an account for him. You know, did you think of the dangers of exposing him? So we'll have that conversation. Right. But now I'll hand you over to Willis, who's on the other side. Willis?
Yes, I was just looking at Jamari. People who are wondering where he is, we'll get a shot of him shortly. Yeah, there he is, just chilling. He's enjoying himself in the studio, having fun, discovering the carpet chini yamkeka, as one Alex Burugu would say. But yes, we'll be crossing over to him and Cream a little bit later on. But also something that's very important and something that's emerging as well is fashion. And just before I get into that conversation, if you want to join our conversation, the hashtag is Power Breakfast on Twitter and 22422 for your questions and views and comments. And I'm here with some lovely ladies who are going to introduce themselves, and then we're going to have a small show of what they're here to show. So right, so introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Yvonne Kibota from Eve Designs.
And you?
Hi, I'm Debbie Oyuki from Baby Shower Kenya.
Right, so we're going to start with Debbie from Baby Shower Kenya, and Debbie has some beautiful children lined up here, and they're going to walk, and then Debbie's going to tell us a little bit about how they're dressed. So they should go ahead and start. All right. So there you go. Alright, so Debbie, walk us through why you chose to dress them in this and about their outfits as well.
First of all, this shop is 1 week old.
Okay.
Let's start from there. It's something that was born over 2 years ago, and it fuses the person I am.
Okay.
It fuses me as a model, and then my love for kids.
Okay.
So it gets it together. So dressing up these children, I'm a strong believer of letting kids be kids,
okay,
but also making them look outstanding.
Okay.
So each of these outfits can go for any function. But what she is wearing will be good for a day out.
That's the first lady.
Yes, the first lady.
Okay.
For him, it's more of a wedding look, an occasion look.
Okay.
On a fun day, on a day that you want the child to relax, but you still want the child to stand out, I would do the red outfit. And then when it comes to teenagers, we need to introduce them to style, as well as be able to make them feel still they're not yet there,
yes,
but they're still children.
Yes.
So you introduce them to an adult style, but in a simple, nice way.
So
David,
sorry, go ahead.
David, it's something you've said. You've said you're a believer of children being able to identify their style. At what point then would you say a child is able to identify a style that works for them?
When I was young, I think my mom used to pick all my clothing.
Okay.
Yeah.
But of late, I went to a supermarket and I met this child with a mother. And the child wanted this outfit, you could not take it away. Like, I would talk about Nigel because he's my nephew. The guy is obsessed with the color red. Anything that comes with red is his picking. So most of the time, it's because we don't listen to them. I know when you are growing up, those matching outfits, mom has decided this is what to wear. In as much as you don't like it, you even go out there crying, but it's the outfit they have chosen. But the idea is, if I confuse, every child is special, every child is different. If I confuse who a child is, and I'm very sure you can pick out a child's personality from when they're young.
All right.
Raburu, on your end, you have a sociologist on that side.
Yes, we have Mr. Philip Okaka.
I'd like to hear his thought process. Debbie has brought up something very, very important. You know, when we were growing up, our parents really didn't give us a chance. But look at you know, us now, children are now determining what they want to wear. What could you say is the cause of that change? What has happened?
We're talking about a transition period. One time when you didn't have information on what's going on around you, and your parent, you relied on your parent as the only source of information. Today, children are exposed to greater sources of information and at their fingertips. We're talking about social media today, and that's why people are able to say, if so-and-so can have this, then why can't I have this? And therefore, it builds a negotiation at family level, that now, instead of us, 4 of us or 5 of us or 10 of us in a family being put to wear uniform. It used to be uniform. Everybody has to be in red, or everybody has to be in green. And I think then it was a presentation that we are family, and that was the symbol of family. Today we are talking about we are family, and the symbol is we need to negotiate and agree on how everybody gets comfortable at a family level.
Okay. All right. Well, we're also going to be having some teenagers a little bit later on, and Yvonne will be talking to us about that. But first, the boy of the hour is on our runway here. Beep, beep. He keeps saying, beep, beep, beep. There you go. So he's also responding in kind. And so that's Jim Jam, the guy who has 6,000 followers on Instagram, and we'll also be talking a little bit about that later on. So it's okay. Let me have this one. Let me help you there. Okay. So as me and Jim Jam continue bonding, we'll cross over to the parents, Mr. Jogona. Jameni. We're back into the crib.
Let me ask you, how do you deal with this? Jamari is a very active child. Has he always been this active?
Actually, yes, right?
Yes, he's been active all his life.
All his life, ever since he was born. You were telling me he didn't sleep. All he wanted to do was play. Yes,
at 3 a.m. in the morning to like about 8.
That's what you did.
Checking into bed,
Is that the reason as to why then you saw the need to open an Instagram account for him?
Actually, it was my bad, but yeah.
Of course, I know the name, so it had to be you. I mean, it had to be. Why did you decide to?
First of all, let me tell you, we had a very crazy fight that morning.
Yes.
Because first of all, I didn't tell her because she was asleep when I opened the account. So in the morning, she's waking up and the first thing she sees is Jamari on 100 followers. She's like, what is going on?
Yes, of course.
So for me, I had to explain because I have a clothing line called Epic Nation, and we deal with hoodies, sweatshirts, and all that. Because now we deal with adult clothes. But now for now, it's like he had a lot of fans even when he was still he was still young. So it's like, why don't I open an account for him so that he can model and push his own agenda in terms of fashion, in terms of the lifestyle and all that.
Push his own agenda or push your agenda?
Listen, he's going to inherit all that. So you're
preparing him for that.
He's giving him the voice.
Yeah, the voice.
Denise, you were not particularly excited about it?
Not really, not the first time, because like you said, he did it without consulting me first. So I just woke up one morning and, as usual, the phone, you have to go on Instagram.
Look at the camera.
So the moment I went on Instagram, that's how I found out that my son is actually on IG.
Weren't you scared? I know Cream for sure was not scared, and that's why he went ahead and thought about it. Were you scared?
I was.
And are you still scared?
Yes, I was. I was very, very scared because, as a mom, the first thing that you out there to do is protect your son. Yeah. So I was scared in the sense that I was worried about what people were going to say. Because, IG is all about posting pictures. Yeah, so I was worried about the critics and, what guys going to hate. The cyberbullying that's all over the social media and all that. So I was quite, I did think about that. And that's the first thing that made me actually question him. And that's why I wasn't for the idea. Yeah.
You've talked about the issue, and there are pictures of Jamari on his Instagram page. You've talked about the issue of cyberbullying. You thought about it. Did you come up with mechanisms to ensure that it doesn't take place? And if it does, how are you going to handle it?
First of all, I think that the first point even I was telling my wife about it is the first thing was to be very clear on what goes out there. Not showing too much, because let me tell you, nowadays, when you're talking about social media, people about the lifestyle, what people need to see about you. So depending on what you put out there will really determine the kind of comments that actually people get. And God is so good because Jamari from such an early age, he's just lovable basically. So I'm thankful so far, no hate. it, and what I do as a matter of fact is I really go through most of the comments. If there's something that probably, it's not happened yet, but if there's something that probably, you know, might raise an alarm, I'm a red flag, I just delete it.
You delete it?
Yes, so we are very, really careful of what goes out there, because we don't, again, show too much.
Yes.
Because we know probably as he advances in age, he's gonna experience most of them. But for me, my fallback plan actually when he grows up is I think I'll teach him and tell him what social media is all about, the power and the pros and the cons on the same.
I'd like to hear what the sociologist Mr. Okoka has to say about this. This is a 2-year-old who has an Instagram account. His parents clearly pushing his own agenda. What's your take on that, on young kids on, you know, social media?
It's actually amazing that at his age he already has 6,000, not 6 but 6,000.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about. And I don't have 6,000. So already he has beaten me in that game.
Yes, he has.
And I'm looking at his age and I'm looking at decision-making processes that are actually there. But I'm also excited to hear from the parents say that they're actually keeping tabs with what is going on. Ultimately, you realize that when children get on social media, it means that with time you will be losing space to command the content, and you begin to take up the content. That means that he will be able to grow older and be able to access the platform and be able to contribute content at his own level. So it means that you need to go a step further as a parent to be able to see how you negotiate on the kind of content that goes online. One you need to understand about social media that today social media is a global, what do you call it, cafeteria.
Yes.
You walk in, you serve what you want, you pay how much you want to pay, you get it hot, right, and you go away with it. So, and like putting the analogy together, when you go to a cafeteria and you're getting food, you expect many things to happen. Your food can be spiced up, too much salt, too much sugar, whatever it is, and that affects your own health. So the kind of information we are seeking for, that we are hungry for, just like food, you need to be ready for repercussions that will actually take place. So in dealing with it, we have to negotiate as parents and see how much of content do we want to relay so that our children have. But in speaking all this, I'm not really against social media. I'm pro-social media because that's where we need to go and develop our world further.
True. Okay. All right.
Okay, so just a reminder, the hashtag to use will be sampling them shortly, but really I'm just enjoying watching Mr. 6,000, that's what I'm going to call him, Mr. 6,000 in his field. He's taken over this place. So right, so we also have fashion. That's another major thing, especially for teenagers, and we want to talk to Yvonne here, and she has two models over there. She's going to walk us through what they're wearing and why they're wearing and why you chose to dress them like this, and also just about teenage fashion.
So I'm gonna start with Julie. Julie is dressed in a tribal print romper short. It's inspired by the African or tribal print. She can wear it to an outdoor event, for a family outing. It's basically an easy dress code. Yeah, and also colorful for her age. Okay, on to Christabel. Christabel is dressed in a crop top, a rayon crop top detailed with a kente print and a chiffon skater skirt. My inspiration for that look is normally for gigs, events, a Sunday lunch. Yeah, so she can rock that anytime and comfortably.
All right.
Yvonne, don't you think we're exposing our young girls to what many might call indecent fashion at a very young age?
Oh, we really try to keep it decent because for the romper it's a bit knee-length, and for the crop top it's somehow meeting the skirt. So
you try and be funky but at the same time decent.
Yeah,
trying to
decency.
Okay. And I was thinking about this earlier, Mr. Okaka, with globalization taking place in the world, are we losing ourselves in that space? Seeing as we're a country with so many people, so many diverse cultures, are we losing ourselves there?
I'm not really sure if the right word is losing ourselves into the process, because globalization helps the world move forward. We cannot seclude ourselves and decide that we want to operate alone. We are part of a bigger community. What we need to think about is the kind of content generation that we have that is going around, especially on social media, and the decisions being made to maybe get into fashion and what you're doing. But pretty unfortunate is that we have denied the generation or the youthful generation enough content that is relevant to the African culture. So as much as we are adopting the systems, waves, television, social media, mobile phones are all generated from the westernization kind of philosophy brought down here, and they're coming in with content that is relevant for that. You look at the world as a bigger body and think about people doing business. They're not bringing their smartphones for nothing. They also want content to come in so that business gets back to their pockets. So it's part of what contributes to unfair trade, because we are using smartphones, but we are not generating business internally with our local content, but we are using content that will give them business. E.g. gaming. We don't do enough gaming here, but everybody is on games and they buy games, so it means we are consumers, but we are not building our own nation at that level.
Interesting. Well, I mean, there are still some more. I've seen the beautiful children who are here earlier have already changed as well, and they'll be coming shortly to us. And I guess, well, we'll be still talking to Mr. Okaka, and we're going to be taking some of your questions, as I said, shortly. And with all this dressing, fashion, and the Instagrammers, now Mr. Jogona. So, for now, I'll throw it back to Kirigo.
All right, guys. We've seen, you know, in the Western world, a lot of kids coming up and being brand ambassadors. Has this, you know, Jamari being on Instagram opened other doors apart from, you know, Epic Nation?
Yes, it has actually. Probably I'm not going to mention who.
Yes.
But over the last 2 months, I've been getting a lot of emails on him to be to be doing to be on adverts.
Okay.
And some endorsements. Of course, I'm going to disclose that later on though. But for my wife and I, we're really careful on what he gets on, because at the end of the day, it's business for everybody. You know. So we really have to be clear on exactly what we want for him, and is it still the right age. But for me, so far so good, and I'm grateful. Yes, and I'm grateful for that.
And Denise, have you thought of you know, at that point where Jamari grows up and he finds this Instagram you know, page with now, let's say, 20,000 followers, not even 6, and he then questions you and says, "Why did you do this? This is not me." Have you thought of that? And what's your response
That's
to that?
a very smart one, though.
Yes, we have. But just by looking at him now, you can already tell his personality and the kind of person that he's going to be when he grows up. So we already can tell that by then he'll be in social media, and
he's already out
there. He's already on YouTube. Like right now, you give him an iPad, he can stay there. He's all over the place right now, but he can stay on his iPad for like 1 or 2 hours.
Doing what on his iPad?
YouTube. Mostly YouTube,
colors, numbers,
just learning colors.
So the iPad is actually teaching him stuff.
Straight, because even we tell so many other parents who see Jamari on the iPad, apart from the fact that my wife taught him, you know, how to, the alphabet, the colors especially, most of the things used to go over and over again on his iPad. So from A, we probably taught him A to E, the rest of it on the iPad, numbers. Now he's doing shapes and colors and all that. The other day I woke up and I'm hearing from afar, he's just watching something about spheres and pyramids and cones. I'm like, were you doing that when you're that age? No. You know?
I didn't have an iPad then.
Probably.
Okay, but then how do you ensure that the content, what he's coming across, you know, on social media is fit for him and not, you know, and he won't get swallowed in that world?
Because for what we've done on the iPad, because most of the technology that's out there right now is you can actually control that, because there's the conventional mode which we all use as adults, but now every latest gadget has what we call the kids mode. So that's what his iPad is locked on.
That.
Yeah, so we've already gotten the content. Even you see the way YouTube suggests you to other sites. It can only do kids stuff. So that's the only way. Actually, that's the only legit way of controlling what your kid actually comes across.
Is watching or listening to. Okay, Denise, would you advise other mothers to do this?
Yes, at this day and age, I would advise, because you see, like most people would advise you not to expose him to, especially at this age, to social media and things like laptops and
because my argument will be he'll never be social. you know, he'll always
exactly,
be
yeah.
on this thing.
That's what people say, but I would actually say regulate it.
True.
Like have a certain time when he can be on his iPad, be on his phone, and then the rest of the time you can take him outside to play and you know, do other activities, even watching cartoon. That really helps.
And he actually gets tired though, because he'll just probably be on his pad for an hour, or 2 hours, then he'll go outside and play. So we're actually noticing that he already has that balance already.
Okay.
You know? He can't stick on something for too long.
We started it early, so he's like catching up.
Done with that.
It's coming,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Let me hand you now to Willis Rabulu on the other end.
All right. So as you can see, the children there have changed, but also we've been joined by some new parents whose child is also on Instagram, and Mr. Okakai is having a ball playing with him as well. You see, Appa, we are holding. All right. So again, Debbie, so they've changed. Tell us about these two particular outfits.
Maybe the most important thing I didn't put out at first is Baby Shower Kenya uses locally made fabrics.
Okay.
So we always want to walk into a baby shop, but we don't want to walk and buy what is made in Kenya.
Okay.
So that is the option I am giving out there. So for whatever she's wearing, church, her function.
So which sheep?
Michelle.
The black?
The Kente print, the blue one.
All right.
Kente is the African print.
Kente is, thank you very much indeed. Sikitenge. Hallelujah. Hi, the Kente print.
Yeah. Could you please turn Michelle a bit? Just turn round.
All right.
Turn again.
Turn again.
So the idea is, we are girls.
Yes.
We love pretty little things. The bow brings that out in the little girl. Yeah. Whatever she's wearing can fit from a 7-year-old to a 12-year-old, because it's still a mixture. It's still bringing out the child in her, but it's still making her stand out. Yes.
All right. Awesome. So the same thing about just to throw a question to you as well about the teenagers, right? So she said the girls are like pretty little things. How do you factor in the dressing a teen? Because like he said, the demands are, I mean, they can change every time. They can go on social media and pick anything. So how do you like manage that?
The challenge with teenagers, they love sometimes fitting stuff, something that will enhance the curves or something. But again, we are African, so we have to look at our values. So like for the skater skirt she wore in white, it can even go to church, yet it's colorful, it's bright, so not a dull look. Yeah.
All right. Okay, cool. So we also, like I said, we have Mr. Okaka is still here walking us through, but we have a new lady who I'll ask to introduce herself with a very tech-savvy kid who is very excited and keeps jumping here as well. So just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about the child and his Instagram page.
All right. My name is Mercy Njoki. Actually, his name is also Jamari. Yeah, Jamari Heho. Many people like saying Jamari Baridi. Yeah, Heho means cold. Baridi, cold. So yeah, and this is his dad. His name is Hazy the Brand. I think he'll speak more about his son. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an honor to be here. Thank you for the opportunity. Jamari has been a blessing to us. He always gives me joy, you know. He's always smiling up all the time. And you can check up his Instagram page, basically. A lot of guys love, you know, double tapping that page like this.
Why did you set up an Instagram page for him?
Basically, it's because most guys were like, show us pics of Jamari, you know. We love the way he smiles on the pics and all that. And secondly, also besides that, people tell me, people ask me, hey, is Jamari like you, you know? Being a gospel artist as well, you know, they also want to see if my son is going to take up my traits for being an artist, or is he just set on a totally different line of in life here as well.
Mercy, how was your, who started it? Who started the page? Him?
I did.
So the men here are the ones who are really pushing for this. Mercy, I'd want to know your thoughts initially, you know, when he set out to open an Instagram page for your son.
All right. For me, I think it's a good thing, because now I don't put up his photos as much, so I have my own page and he has his own page, which is growing slowly. So I'm excited about it.
Oh, so you're like, I'm independent, you're independent.
Yeah, exactly.
You do you, I do me.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. We're talking with Cream and Denise, and we were saying how this exposure comes with business. Look at what happened to Diamond, the Tanzanian musician. He got a baby just the other day.
70,000 likes.
70,000 likes.
Day one.
Day one. They already have endorsements, brand endorsements from different shops. Has that been happened for you guys, or you're hoping and praying that it will come?
We are hoping and praying because our page is still new.
Okay.
So we are hoping Kenya. I haven't seen that in Kenya yet. But I'm hoping people will come up with such things, because it's a good initiative. Yeah.
Okay, all right then. Can hear Jamari.
Just had a question actually. Jamari is over there. Amefungua YouTube. Kwa YouTube anaangalia muziki. Sasa it's good that he is now, and they're all kwanza ni watu na ma DJ na musician.
And I was going to ask you actually. Sorry, Raburu, I've shut you down, or rather. They're seeing I've already finalized this study, that the people who in the arts-oriented field are those who will tend to deviate to such, avenues to talk more about their lives. Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I guessing things here, or?
I'm not very sure if this sample is enough for us to qualify. There are only two.
Oh, then there's Diamond now.
Oh yeah, we're talking about 3
in the future.
Okay, Raburu 4, and we have a bigger population to think through. But what I think is that is it anything different? That's what we need to ask ourselves. When you were born, you didn't have social media. But immediately you're born, your father or your mother was willing to show you around and say, this is my child, this is my daughter. They go to church with you, they introduce you to other people, introduce you to relatives. I think there's a pride set that is also there.
Okay.
But today we are introducing social media. It means they have bigger space to talk about their pride set, which is good. It's not bad, it's good. And that way we make the world interrelated much better. I think it's all about things coming up, and maybe this is the trendy thing. We need to study this more and find out what actually happens to these children in 10 years, in 20 years, and 30 years' time, and whether it contributes positively to our national growth.
And Matthew, I'll ask you what I asked Cream and Denise. 10 years from now, 20 years from now, Jamari comes and says, why did you do this? Why did you open a page? How are you going to deal with that? Have you thought of that? 1. 2, have you thought of cyberbullying? Something that is very big when it comes to social media, when it comes to online presence. Have you thought of how you're going to deal with that?
I think I haven't thought of it because I'm thinking the way we're growing, right? And at some point, social media is going to be everything by the time it's growing, but I haven't. He's the one who opened the page.
Okay, so let's take it back. Let's take it back to him. Let's take it back to him.
I believe as I spend every other day with my son, I teach him ways and traits to grow up and how to handle stuff. And as he goes with me all around in studios, in shows, for interviews, he knows how to handle the pressure. And he knows how to handle the pressure, how to handle the bullying and all that. So I believe with time, since he's my kid and I grew up with him every other day, I teach him this. He's going to know how to handle the pressure from the outside world as well.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right then.
Okay, well, I have one more question for Mr. Jokona.
Yes, boss.
We go way back, so all right. So I need to get in time. Someone needs to pass me the iPad so I can get some questions for them. But we have a gentleman here as well who just come on and tell us a bit about, because this is going to be transformed into a show. There's a show that's coming up. You want to tell us a little bit about that? I'll just.
Well, there's a kids fashion weekend which are coming up with. I is William, having have Bob Modeling Company, which we are planning to do the first ever kids fashion show in Kenya and East Africa. So we're planning it on Friday or on Sunday. It will be on Sunday at the Michael Joseph Center. That's where we're doing the launch.
Why do you think about coming up with an event like this?
Well, my inspiration was, okay, I love kids. I have interacted with a couple, and so the thing that came up with at first, it was a dancing for kids and all that, but I found there's an organization that already does it. So I planned come up with something new that will cater for the designers and the kids, to bring something trendy for kids. Well, to get kids designers was hard, so I had to source them for a while, for like a month, but I fortunately got a couple. So some are the ones we have here, dealing with kids and teens, and also there are others who will be there for the show. Yeah.
All right. And the British would say, how remiss of me, I didn't ask you your name.
Well, I'm William Ndolo. Yeah, the director for Vogue Modeling Company. Yeah.
All right. So there you have it. So it's on Sunday, Michael Joseph Center. What are the charges?
The tickets, the advance tickets are 500 and the gate tickets are 700.
Okay. Yeah, sure. The Michael Joseph Center. Come and see the kids and all they do, and their dressing. And as you can see, as we've been told by Debbie and Yvonne, there are different ways to dress them. You've seen here, and so we want to get now. Let's get a little bit of feedback here. So Morning Citizen, somebody says, I have my son with his own swag. Is there a way you can promote it to be on social media? So here's what you do. Anzisha account. Alafu tag Creme de la Creme. Utamtag, eh? Ukisham tag ata repost.
Atakusaidia.
Atakusaidia. Or tag Hazy. Hazy, what's your nini on Instagram? Your
The brand. Hazy the brand.
DA.
Yeah, DA, Hazy the brand.
Complicated. The brand. All right. So most of them have already been asked. Yes, somebody was asking about how do they manage. This is somebody says here we are very entertaining. Somebody's asking, do I read this cream? Please. Somebody says naonanga cream na Red Bull mingi ama amepatia mtoto.
Endorsement coming up by the way for you.
There you go. Yeah. And somebody's this is good because somebody has asked here. Your number ends in 78. You say hata mimi nataka hiyo. So the Epic Nation.
Yes, thank
you. Yeah, so kama kawaida mimi nimewambia it is simple at Creme de la Creme.
Yes.
Or in fact sasa to wachana na cream enda for the next generation, the ones who will inherit.
In fact they are the ones running the show.
The two Jamaris. Yes, yeah. And they can also get you some of those Epic Nation shots as well. And of course, mimi kama Willy Saburu na Kirigo Ngaro tunawajua. No command to loyalty hapo, so you can holler at us and we'll let that happen.
Nitafanya kwa brand lakini ukijua. Nitafanya kwa brand.
Sasa mimi ngoja nipate mtoto.
Oh, okay.
Tangarisha social media.
Sawa. Excellent. Mr. Okaka, thank you so much for joining us. Yvonne, Debbie, thank you so much. Mercy, Hazy, Jamari, thank you for coming and wish you all the best. And when you become millionaires, remember,
yes,
it's your favorite auntie. Your favorite auntie, Jamari is your favorite auntie. All right, then. You're watching the Power Breakfast Show. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been a good one. We do hope that you've been informed, you've been entertained, you've been educated. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Have a lovely day. Keep warm. Take care. Rabu?
All right, and just a reminder, it is at
at Jamari Jam Jam.
At Jamari Jam Jam and
Jamari Heho.
Jamari Heho, yani Heho like Maema Heho. Yes, Jamari Heho. So thank you guys so much. Remember today the big question is Hussein Mohammed, so you need to keep tuned to that as well. And this week we're focusing on raising the next generation, so keep it Power Breakfast. We'll keep bringing you new things and new ways children are making a difference and growing up. For now though, as usual, my name is Willy Saburu, reminding us always that successful people look like you, and now obviously these two children and everybody here. Have a good day.